Hello, darlings. I am Cassandra George Sturgis. Welcome to my channel, Authentic Beauty, Handmade Dolls and Crafts. In this video, I am going to show you how to create the eyes for the sock doll, Josephine. Welcome to part 6. We're going to rock this out. Thank you so much for watching. In video 4, we needle sculpted Josephine's face. In video 5, we attached the ears to her head. And now we are ready to paint the sock doll Josephine's eyes. You are going to need some gesso. My friend Tanya, who is the creator of Dolls by Montague, informed me that I didn't know if it was a soft G or hard G, but anyway, it's gesso. And I have a few videos where I'm calling it gesso, but it's gesso, people. And so what you're going to do is take the gesso and you're going to paint the doll's eye. So right in the area, for her eye. Be extremely careful. Yes, I have made a mistake and I have gotten some of the gesso not in the area for her eye. And what I did was I took a black Sharpie to cover that area. But you know what? The best thing I can tell you to do is settle your nerves. Jump in Josephine. Settle your nerves. I was going to suggest wine, but the truth is, I don't even know if you should drink wine because you really need to pay attention. Because when you make a mistake, look, be very, very careful. Use a really tiny brush. Take your time and paint the area in really well with the gesso, because once it dries, you're going to paint it go over it with white paint. Again, you need to be extremely, extremely careful. And after you, now one of the things that's very important is that you need to let the gesso dry. So I painted the inset for her eyes. I let it dry for a couple of hours, graded some papers, ran some errands, came back, and then I painted it with white paint, let it dry completely. Oh, you know what? And another thing I thought about too, especially when my hands were shaking, is that if you make a mistake, especially like in the eye area, all you have to do is repaint it with gesso and start over. But you don't want it to get around the rim. But you could, like I said, I use marker depending on the color of your doll. That will determine what you would need to do to make those corrections. So I would say use a very small paintbrush and try not to make that mistake in the first place. So now I am going ahead and I am painting Josephine's eyes with the white paint. And I'm going to let that dry before I paint on the pupil. I am not going to lie to you guys. At this point, when I was making this sock doll, I swear to you, I thought this was the ugliest doll I had ever made in my entire life. And I didn't think any amount of makeup or any amount of anything was going to make her look more human. I was like, oh, should I start over? I mean, like, I've weaved the hair in. And I said, you know what? Josephine just kept talking about her husband and these girls in high school and, oh my God, and how women betray each other. And she had so much to say, and I was taking so many notes. I thought, you know what? I do not get to determine how this doll is going to look. I need to take notes and, and just keep going. So Josephine just talked me through the creation of her. Holy smoke, I need to pay attention to the video. So what I did was I took a little bit of pink paint to paint at the bottom of her eye and in the corners to give it that nice little pop of color. I mean, it's just a preference because, well, I love like a little surprise of color, and I think it makes the eye look really pretty. Now to create the pupil, I am using this black goldish metallic paint that is actually new. I got it from Walmart in the paint section, but it's like a black metallic, and I love it. So maybe, guys, like I should have used some type of guidelines, taken a pencil and drawn the pupil before painting, but I didn't want to. I don't like rules. I like to do what I want to do when I feel like it. Take my chances. So I just went ahead and I painted the pupil. And when you paint the pupil, you do want to wait for it to dry, because I have found that when you wait for each layer to dry, it has a floating effect, a more ethereal effect, because the colors aren't blending together, they're stacking. And when you add the clear coat glaze, it looks like it's floating. And I love it. So now that the pupil has dried, I am taking another brush, and you want to use a nylon brush with nylon, what do you call it? Those little brush area, because it needs to be hard. You don't want to get a soft brush. You need it to be very firm. And what I'm doing is I'm doing like a cross, you know, like for the design inside the pupil. I'm making a cross, and then I'm crossing inside of the cross with an X. I don't know if this makes sense. And then I'm going into the corners with another color. And the color that I'm using inside of the corners is like a copper color. So just imagine making a cross and then taking an X inside of the cross and where it all meets in the center. And right in the corner, I go ahead and use another color. Now, after I use the copper color, again, remember to let all your layers dry. I go and I apply the glitter. Oh my God, I'm in love with glitter. Oh, I'm sorry. It's the glitter glue, actually, because when you try it, well, some people have a steady hand, but I have found the glitter glue helps it remain in place better. And I just dab. Too much glitter is just, I have done it to where, you know, I've used too much glitter to the point where I can't take a picture of the doll because the glitter reflects the light from the camera, and the doll's eyes never come out well. So I've learned, just see, oh my God, it's so pretty. Oh, I'm sorry, oh my bad. But it is like, yeah, just a dab. And then once the glitter dries, you want to go ahead, and I am using a 3D paint to create the little dot, the little pupil opening. And you can make this as big or small. And guys, you know what? Make the eyes any way you want to make them. I'm not the greatest painter in the world. Like, yeah, I'm not. Now that I've added the pupil, I am adding the little white 3D paint, like at the very top, and two little dots at the bottom to create like the little reflective look. Now this is a crystal cold glaze that I am absolutely in love with. I found it by mistake. You know what? I don't even know what people use this for. All I know is I love it. I am applying it generously inside of the doll's eye. And because of we needle sculpted the eyes on the inset, it actually sits there and it dries to a crystal coat glaze. And I have found you should probably do each eye separately, because you want to angle it. So you want to angle the doll's head so that the crystal coat glaze does not run out onto the doll's face. So just do one eye, let it dry, and you might want to add another coat of the crystal coat glaze after her eyes dry. And then when one eye is completely ready, you want to go ahead and do the other eye. And it takes, I would say for me, overnight for it to be perfectly dry. So after the eyes have dried, and this is the next day, I apply some of my MAC blush, and I don't suggest that you use MAC blush. It's just it was in my purse. It was right next to me. I just used a brush to put on some blush, and now I am using some of my favorite paint. This paint is so inexpensive. You can buy it from Joann's, Walmart, or Michael's, and it's about $3, and I think I'm exaggerating. And it has all of these colors, and it has my favorite royal type metallic blue. I like to wear blue eyeshadow myself ever since I was in high school, and I love blue eyeshadow. I don't know why. I know people don't like it. Everybody's going for the natural look. But if you ask me, at the end of the day, blue eyeshadow is still my favorite. And if you, a lot of my dolls, you'll see they have blue eyeshadows, blue eyeshadow. One of my friends said that my dolls look like hookers because she thinks that I over make up their face. But hey, each his own, right? So now I am cutting out the doll's eyebrows using the sticky back felt. And you know what, this is actually where I warrant those scissors. Those scissors are about $50, seriously, and they're super sharp. I love those scissors, and I cannot believe I did something. I can't believe I did. Okay, let me get over it. But basically what I'm doing is cutting out the shape for her eyebrows, and even though it has a sticky back, it's still not sticky enough to remain on top of the doll's face. So what I'm doing is I typically like to take a stick pin, stick it into place in the middle, and then take a little bit of my fabric fused glue because it dries extremely clear, and then I'll just dab it on each side just a tiny bit with a toothpick, and then once it dries I'll remove the pen from the center. I am now using some false eyelashes, and I'm using the fabric fused glue, and I'm placing it right at the rim of the bottom of her eye with a toothpick. And then I'm going to place the eyelash. This is kind of different from anything I've ever done, like use the eyelashes on the top lid or something. But no, I'm just going to lay it pretty much right at the rim of the bottom of her eye, which is on the very top of her cheek, and then I trim it to fit the eye area. I am so in love with her. I mean, I think this is when I fell in love. Like at this point, she's like coming into, I don't know, this being that I think a being who has her own type of authentic beauty, right? And I'm just falling in love with her. I am now applying the bottom lash to her other eye. I cut another type of lash, like just the corner of it, and I placed it right in the corner of Josephine's eyes, so that it looked like we have one set of lashes is right at the bottom rim of her eye, and then at the corner I took a different type of eyelash that was a lot thicker, and I cut the corner of it and I glued it right in the corner of her eye, because I don't know, for some reason I felt that because of the inside of her eyes and the way her eyes are created, she could not have eyes in the traditional format where you would put the lashes on a lid. But I thought this gave her, you know, what I call ooh la la in personality. In the next video, we're going to go over how to weave in Josephine's hair. I know there's a doll inside of you who is just dying to come to life, but only you can breathe life into her. I look forward to seeing you in the next video.